possible given the nerfs perhaps, but having an additional nade, having that 0 point to be able to come through, the null command as well to deny the utility coming through when Zeta Division tries to come in for a retake could be really strong.
Well, only time will tell. We are ready for the first game of today. We're gonna see who is fighting harder once more. We're gonna go into Bind. Let's go over to our casters, William and Quack.
Thank you very much, Chubby Ninja, Aserai, and Achilles.
We're here.
Yes, it's day 2.
It is day 2. We have to remind ourselves. Not necessarily on the calendar, but it is day 2.
Okay, I mean, we are starting things out with that first match, and they were talking so much about it. Some rookies coming in, but of course, the agent composition and the map as well. We've got the double initiator and the double controller.
Yeah, that's some distinct differences. And then, of course, the Des mentioned Sky. I mean, I have my doubts, to be very fair. The Sky changes, I think, hit Bind so hard because she used to be so oppressive on that defensive side over on B long. What is your answer to keep control of that space and get that information on the pistol, Quack? It looks like it's going to be a stack push out from Zeta to take control of that part of the map.
Already, and that's just such a new flavor for Zeta Division as well, going aggressive. Oh, this is great.
I mean, they tried it a couple times in the offseason. The execution not always clean, but hey, we'll take what we can get to end the rounds earlier than the last 10 seconds of each time. So it's a new look.
Definitely one that's welcome. I think Global Esports, on the other hand, though, maybe just going to take things slow for the time being. They are starting things out. This is a bit of a debut as well. Now, Benkai coming in. They are starting things off, pushing deep into A, using the Poison Cloud just to obscure vision. The Gecko getting the plant in.
Yeah, the Wingman, of course, makes things a lot easier on the pistol as well. That low profile going to be pretty useful around that truck. The big question is no opposition. Global Esports should have an inkling that either they need to push out or be very wary of the flank.
Oh, I feel like Lightning Fast is aware of this. They definitely heard the dog now. Russ just checking out the back, but now they're starting to feel surrounded. Exactly. Depp staying hidden in case someone pushes into him. He might be able to catch off a couple of hits. Depp does find one onto Lightning Fast. That's a good start now.
Laz
got the info, but not quite the tags. Russ holding up by Dice, getting a double kill now. You are sticking the defuse, though, thanks to the Sky Smoke. 8 seconds left, and Zeta picks up the round.
I mean, I was about to comment, all right, Russ wanted to talk about firepower. He wanted to say that we can all aim and shoot. Sure, you proved that in the pistol round, but guess what? You still do have to play around the spike. I know some people like to rant about shooting guns in Valor, but there's also an objective.
Oh, we all got kind of distracted in that moment. It was so odd, but it is what it is. And I mean, Zeta is going to pull off such hijinks just like that. I think it's a very good new look to them.
Yeah, definitely. For any of you who have been waiting for Zeta to have this evolution, at the very least, they are committing to this color change. And with the rookies, too. Let's talk about that. They touched upon it on the desk, but 2 members who started as Academy players under that Zeta banner, now both getting the shot onto Tier 1. And a great triple from Urak.
He does drop to Russ, but still, damage felt and done. And the force from Global Esports just kind of falls apart. What is this? It's so strong. Atarashi Zeta Division, and they are still ringing true. Benkai and Lightning Fast, though, picks up the spike. Now looking for a new option.
I mean, what do you do here? Like you mentioned, Quack, they forced, so they have to make something happen in this round. Saving on a force with a Stinger and a Spectre, not something you ever want to have to choose to do, but it's also like it's a 2v4 with the Cypher and Viper on attack. You gotta hope the stars align. You are stuck between rock and a hard place, and it's only the second round of your very first match in kickoff.
Rock in a hard place. What are some other hard places? I can't really think of anything.
Well, I mean, this entire map is just walls everywhere, and it's not looking like any of them are about to budge. Don't mind the bait out.
Just gotta walk through. I mean, 30 seconds left. Benkai goes for the swing, and that's a great new look as well.
Okay, the first step is there, a weapon upgrade, and they have control of showers as well.
Cam. 3 players to retake. This is not impossible, especially if Benkai has the Bulldog. They are thinking that he's probably up around showers, but he's actually wrapping back around to rendezvous with Lightning Fast.
Yeah, and you have the double snake bite as well. The post plants are available too. I mean, Global Esports,
Zeta.
They don't have as much time as they think they do. Or
yeah,
Zeta.
I like how they're clearing their bases though, using the incendiary and everything, now finally getting information and then the tag to go through. Still good enough. They will be able to pick up the round, but
Okay.
Almost dicey.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that they're still counting the options for that post plant, right? They were already pushing out, already wanting to make sure because they have the numbers advantage, we want to get contact, and then we can have someone stick onto it once all that lineups come through. But Uran, I mean, a great hold here on window, and we were mentioning Uran and Huron, both these guys. Uran's the one with actually much less experience coming straight up from the Academy roster, not even having a chance to go through Tier 2 and Challengers Japan. And this is a start you want to build up that confidence for some of these younger players.
Definitely. I mean, experience is one thing, but confidence is such a big factor. And you can tell that he's starting to feel a little bit of it. The timing on that snake bite was perfect, and then just spraying things down as well. Huron, though, for the time being, that stack that you mentioned from before, still up and prevalent towards the B site. Definitely have a little bit of information, but now just playing it safe, backing off.
Yeah, I mean, you know with the Force, the opponents aren't going to be on an eco here, so just don't greed, right? I mean, this
don't lose your rifles.
Yeah, anti-eco, textbook through and through. No need to push out, especially on a map like Bind. I mean, sure, with the sky changes, we talk about the timings, but you don't even need to worry about timings. You should be able to hold. You have the Cypher setups on a short. You're holding on to showers. You have backup from Sugar Zero. I mean, this is just up to G on when they make that move.
Dude, they're playing with the timings as well. Sky Smoke well timed by Sugar Zero. Now popping over with the Incendiary.
Can't plan.
Just blocks off the plant. Last is having a field day with these shots. Step coming through from Heaven as well. There's the second one. Last is going to be Russ, and he's pretty much pinned down up by Lamps.
Okay.
I mean, so many people around the world used to dream of days like these with Zeta. Quick decisions, fast rotates, the backup from Depp, the trade angles being held, the decision-making so far. I know it's very early, just a couple rounds into the first map.
But we like what we're seeing.
But we like what we're seeing because it was so rare to see this from the old Zeta. And it's great to see that even with the core, they're willing to adapt and utilize the new forces that they've upgraded with.
Heck yeah. I feel like they're not showing off too much in their books just yet. I mean, they're randomizing some of these positions as well. This time, Laz back in towards Hookah.
Yeah, and here's the big thing, though, right? I mean, Global Esports, because of that force, we got to remember, after the pistol, yeah, the score should be a 3-0. This is where GE starts to show what they've prepped, why they picked up this bind with the Gecko as well.
If they don't, though, that's going to be hell to pay. And I think that's why there's this switch up in positioning from Zeta as well. They recognize that full buy coming through. Uran trying to play defensive, but without the information, just gets swung on pawn by Russ. Sugar Zero's the only one left, and he's only got a Sheriff, so going to have to back off and just kind of give them the sight.
Global Esports should keep in mind that this is, in essence, the bonus for Zeta, right? So GE shouldn't be losing too many weapons. I would say one at best if you want to make sure that you can kind of catch back up in the long haul, trying to keep hold of U-Haul as well from Povey. But he is alone. Everyone waiting for the post plants here.
Wow. Still, though, I mean, you're absolutely right. They don't want to lose the weapons.
God.
They want to take them away from Zeta. Pushing into the Sky Smoke. Povey, the finished gun, and shooting all over the place.
And he's rotated. This is so hard to read from Laz.
Flawless.
I mean, Lightning Fast is going to get it at the end, but there was no way Laz was ready for that wraparound from Povey. Oh, you love to see it. I mean, Povey's one of those members that I think fans from EMEA who have been following closely into the challenger scenes have kept their eye on this guy. But such an unknown factor, especially in Pacific. I mean, not many people would have been keeping their eyes on there as there's such a wide pool. But he's proving this is why my teammates, my coaches hype me up. I'm able to lock this down, buy enough time, and then the post plant's still there, so the round is all but guaranteed.
I mean, precisely, that's kind of what Coach Spin was talking about during the interview. This is the guy that we want to keep our eyes on, and he shows exactly why. The decision to push into that Sky Smoke, I think they knew that it was Zeta going in for a slower retake, so they knew how to exploit that. Next round, though, and Zeta gets the buyback up in full. Laz has the Neural Theft available. Uran and Depp actually really close to their ultimates as well.
Yeah, and I'm keeping my eye on Huron's movement as well. The whole jump peek over on B long, yeah, that's pretty standard. But the thing is you used to be able to play it a lot more lax because the timings on your guiding lights, you could really just work it off of that 20-second timer here and there. And now, yeah, you can see Huron's like, I don't want to use these too early because they ain't coming back. Got to be ready for that, yeah, potential retake.
He's going to use the dog instead. Trailblazer clears out, doesn't see anything. I think BlazeKing might have heard it. That's why he falls back.
Yeah, but the thing is he basically baits out that important utility with the Dizzy, which he gets back in 10 seconds. I mean, BlazeKing is utilizing the counteracting from Gecko to Sky so well.
Might be the difference, though. But still, you got to keep in mind, there are 3 players stacked up from Zeta Division on the A site, and Laz will be able to claim that first head. Deb with the positioning, but tries to sneak through, but burns alive. BlazeKing shoots him down. Last players are around the Cybercation stand, but here comes Thrasher. Has to shoot it, has to reload, tries to run away, still alive. Polvi going in for the chase. Benkai wreaks a bit of havoc from Lamps instead, and still, here comes Polvi.
Just no fear. It doesn't matter if it's a smoke or a molly. He'll just run right through it and frag you out.
With that, Euron's the only one left for this retake. Benkai's got the angle, just wallbangs through Dice.
Oh boy, I think a lot of us are going to have to get ready to eat our words as Global Esports. They are firing as soon as they pick up those rifles.
I am loving this. I mean, yes, we had Zeta Division and we are hyping them up, but at the same time, I mean, it's just so much going on for Global Esports. I think we had quite a bit of doubt. A lot of the GE fans are still supporting them, and it's just really lovely to see. You know, we're very familiar with Benkai the Entertainer, the memer, but here comes Benkai the Fragger as well.
And he used to have those moments when he fragged, also specifically on the Cypher. So it's great to see a return to form. Obviously, some known factors like BlazeKing and Polvi up to a certain extent, but it's good to see Russ and even Benkai shooting on all cylinders as Uran says, you know, I'm one of those new recruits as well that's picked up for talent.
I think this is one of these rounds where Global wants to play a little bit careful. Can't underestimate Zeta Division. Yes, they aren't eco. Yes, it's Sheriffs, but going in for the one-on-one like that, you're still landing the shots. Russ, though, on the other hand, just going to waltz right into A site, gets the opening pick.
I mean, listen, I don't want to run out of all of our storylines too early, but a fragging IGL, that's a rare breed right there from Russ. So looking good so far for Global Esports.
Leadership from EMEA. Laz, though, is still hidden.
Just got spotted, though. It sounds like he fired off that Sheriff. Gonna have to win this fight. Oh, that's a rough one.
All right, and that's Showers being lost over to Global Esports.
Benkai plays so crafty. He's gotten a couple kills in a row now through some of those walls. He just keeps tabs of the pre-fire.
Yeah, I mean, now that he's not IGLing, you know, he's got a lot more time to think. And here comes BlazeKing as well, going in for some of his own frags. And that's gonna be 3-3 to GE.
Okay, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a timeout came through, right? You just got done with that eco round. You're looking to buy up again, but the streak is now on GE side. And quite frankly, Zeta's streak from 1 to 3, it's off of the pistol, right? And it even helps that there was a force buy from Global Esports. So I think you really want to kind of reset and say, okay, what is it that we noted once they bought up the rifles? How are they playing? Where are we making these mistakes? And it's kind of hard to tell because a lot of the quote-unquote mistakes they're making are basically reactions to utility, but they don't know the exact result of it because they can't see the other side of the map.
A little bit hard to pinpoint that right now, I think, Will, because, you know, it's also the eco round and everything. Yeah. So they want to get a little bit more information before going in for that. The flash now coming in. Global Esports with the execute. Finally sees the corner and then commits the showstopper, but Laz goes in for the trade. Cybercage keeps him alive for another second.
Laz needs to win
caught
out
in a duel against him and Benkai too. He is doing a pretty good job at keeping himself alive though.
Needs to push
Tries
out.
to go around the trip, but shot down by Benkai in the back instead. Dev is still here though, up above by Heaven. He's got the operator and he's firing some shots. Uran getting one from the back face short as well. Now it's trying to spot up BlazeKing. The spike, however, has gone down.
But BlazeKing's buying time for Russ. Russ is so low, but if he can get the double from behind, that'd be huge. And they just, the pit comes up.
There's the first. Viper's Pit from Uran though. I don't know how effective that's going to be given Dep's position, but Uran shows that he can hold his own. Russ at 2 HP gets swung upon by Dep and blows up as Zeta picks up the fourth.
Credit where credit is due, he still did get Dep before that rocket actually gets fired off in completion, so just a trade there. But of course, the numbers on the side of Zeta Division. One thing I'm noticing is that Laz, we saw this in the pistol as well, if he doesn't get the kill right away when he's starting to get corralled around, he says, I'm just buying time until backup arrives. Dep got that kill as they were trying to all rush into showers to take out Laz, and that keeps the numbers advantage for Zeta Division. Really good comms and awareness of what my mission is as that lurk who's kind of now caught out in an island.
Especially on the defensive side. I mean, that's the new Zeta Division system that we're seeing. But at the same time, I love that Russ had that sense to kind of wrap up round from behind. Euron, though, is, I think, someone who's really impressing me right now. I don't know if it was the Viper's Pit, and he kind of knew that it would bait the push in, and he would just be in time to gun down his opponent, but that was amazing.
There's a chance here. Lightning fast.
Oh!
Wow,
Wow, Depp.
It's always risky for that second jump peak. I mean, you almost have to take it, but Depp doesn't miss those.
Not something that Global Esports anticipated whatsoever. But now we know that there's an op still ringing around. Depp with the second kill. They were trying to pinch him down, but it's not quite gonna happen. A flash from Hiroran to set him up, and he goes in for even more. Hops off, picks up the quad. Sugar Zero with orbital strike. It's a flawless win for Zeta Division.
Depp was putting up crazy numbers last year in Pacific too, right? In terms of individual stats, in terms of operator kills, things like total kills, he was topping the charts across the board for duelists. So it's great to see him not miss a single beat as he picks up the scope.
It's like a nice reunion.
Well, yeah, for sure, for Depp. I mean, he's been waiting for this in the offseason, didn't play in every event either, took a bit of a break. But what I wanted to mention as we were going into this round is I honestly think Global Esports is playing to their composition strength a bit more. I think they're utilizing that a bit more, pressuring Zeta in terms of comp to comp. But these moments from Laz, these moments from Uran actually as well, and then now here with the operator, that starts to make the defense a lot easier for Zeta. So I don't mind this timeout at all. I actually like it from Global Esports. If you can even, make this up to like a 5-7 and things like that, I think they should look somewhat okay, because it's gonna be tough to just break through explosively without double controllers here on Vine.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, because they only have that one Viper on Lightning Fast. I mean, not to discredit Lightning Fast whatsoever, but it's the composition.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like if you set up the screen to try to dig into U-Haul, then it's like when lamps, well then now you have to rely on the Poison Cloud, which means you have to get kills, you have to push out with the other utility, which there's a lot of. Yeah. I mean, we've seen these combos yesterday as well with things like the Flash Drive and the Dizzy, you've got the Paint Shells. There's a lot you can do, but it does rely on getting that first kill.
That goes there.
That's the main thing. Sometimes Russ opens it up though, but we need to see a little bit more of that as well. Meanwhile, for Zeta Division, I mean, you were talking about the pressure that Global Esports was trying to create, and Zeta just shows that they can definitely toy around with that as well now that Depp is on that op. Third round that he's holding on to this thing, and he's looking to make it work again. Now up on top of truck, doesn't see anything. A bit of info from Hiroran, but not quite the frag. Polvi punishes, and this could weaken up the B site. Okay, not unless Laz comes out though. Swings, gets a double, then backs off. Lightning Fast sees the opening, tries to push through. Blaze King as well. Here comes the toxic screen, and with the positioning, Blaze King is up behind site.
I like that Blaze King is moving all the way around, and he's well aware that there's a potential backup coming in from defender spawn, but it's a matter of timing. Blaze King, he's trying to pick his battles. His teammates will be planting on A. If he can just buy time and get information of when that rotate goes over exactly, that would be more than enough.
He's got so much util too.
Benkai already here. This is way too close for Depp to suspect. He's not scoped in. Oh no! God, Depp!
What a punish. Here comes Blaze though, takes out Euron. And of course, with that, the Viper's Pit deployed as well. Spike still taking away. Depp has a chance, but it's not going to be easy with nothing but an op.
I mean, yeah, you have creds. Yeah, the showstopper's coming up soon, but this is just Mount Everest to climb.
Oh my god, look at Lightning Fast though. Yeah, that's the thing. He's cleared out the front side. Lightning Fast has gone up behind. Depp still lands a shot. This is not over yet.
No, but I think this is where he backs off because
Spike.
Yeah, it's already economic damage done. Sure, they'll be able to buy back up, but you still have the lead. Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it trying to go for at least one more kill. If it came earlier, I absolutely think Depp tries for this, which is insane. But I like that he holds off right at the last second.
Not to mention you forced that Viper's Pit as well.
Yes.
You know, extra investment for Global Esports just to secure the round win. Depp definitely showing us that he's picking up right where he left off, and even with new colors as well.
But GE, good timeout, right? I love that they're kind of waiting. Is there a push out? Because here's the thing, that's what we mentioned with that single initiator on the other side, and now without the refreshable cooldowns on info and flashes, it's going to have to be some sort of push out to get information. Wait for that, and I actually think GE might have been ready to eventually all push into B because they haven't been targeting that site too hard here in the first half.
Just chilling for the time being. They've sensed some early pushes from Zeta from before, so now just trying to be careful. Thrash confirms information. Euron has held Hookah before, so they're just trying to be careful and suss out some positions as well.
This is them just trying to see if they can get one pick. If they can get confirmation that rotates coming out from A, then Benkai is on that lurk.
Ben and Laz. Okay, but oh my goodness, here comes Hiroran. Despite what we were talking about, despite the numbers coming in from Global Esports, somehow with the perfect timing on the utility, Hiroran guns them down. Now Laz takes out Benkai, and with that, you've lost all your arms and legs.
You know, when I first saw the compositions picked up, in theory, I was very interested, and I actually kind of liked GE's idea, but the execution of it is starting to make me feel that maybe they wanted a little bit too much of the pie, right? You wanted your lurk, but you still wanted the double initiator for these set plays to go in, for these distractions to set up Polvi to go in and entry and get that early frag. But that means you're sacrificing that second controller. So the only way to creep up to the entry point, to that starting line for an execute, is to check at some point. One of these corners has to be checked with contact. And at that point, if you're not winning every single duel, it's going to be rough.
Last player standing.
It is.
I mean, this is free, right? Because it's just off of the refresh cooldown, so might as well use it, see if you get anything.
Left.
Doesn't quite find much though, so now just trying to hold on to his rifle, but Laz
just has to stay alive. On the last second, Laz is going to start shooting. Surely.
Wow.
Oh, no way! The stiff bacon? It is a throwable.
Wow, that opens up the door.
I mean, he's got some strong arms on that one for Sugar Zero, so because he threw it all the way through.
No freaking way. Oh my god. Global Esports thought, Blaze King thought he was safe.
Oh man.
That's adorable.
Yeah, Hiroran enjoying it, bringing up the energy. And that's something that Zeta Division, I think a lot of people notice, is that the energy seems to be higher. They seem to be a lot more loose.
Relaxed, yeah.
Meanwhile, GE, I mean, if you watch some of their comms from Convergence, they had hype going. I mean, Blaze King was that guy. So was Russ. He was really riling up the entire team to keep the momentum up. And they've proven at Convergence that they will never let go of their focus. So it's not over yet.
That's why we're keeping the score close. However, with tiny little gaps, Zeta still continues to decimate. So Sugar Zero now picking off a frag. Polvi for the trade. But at this point, damage is done. Spike will go down, but look at this.
I know
Lamps,
exactly.
Hiroran trying to wrap back around. Benkai with the Neural Theft now coming in, so Zeta has to take things a little bit slow.
I mean, they have to push out one way or another. Just waiting for it. They're always going to be out-dueled.
Hiroran Depp.
Polvi got the info. Benkai on the
Has
flank.
to back up, though. Double swing coming through, and Depp still rings true. So accurate, so sharp. A tap to the head for Hiroran, and Zeta picks up the 7th win.
Man, you imagine just how you look at the ideas that G's trying to execute. Obviously, this one is just kind of Laz getting the first kill and just spraying down through the cyber cage. But some of these other rounds, I mean, G's idea is you see it. You see the very beginning of it, and then it just barely gets shut down, or they can't actually finish the entire execute, right? Someone like Laz stays alive, Uran stays alive, and they're not able to continue that momentum. And it just makes you wonder, is it one of those cases where at the end of the day, you still have to get the kills? Ooh, the nices are back.
Hey, nice on MP3.
It's a much like growlier nice, you know? Laz.
You want like a nice or a nice?
Yeah. He's like grown up into the next stage, right?
Whoa. All right, Dev's still here. I mean, this is what we saw from Global. They wanted to execute, and yeah, you were thinking about, do they just have to get those kills? They do, because when they peek out sometimes, it's those tiny gaps. They leave themselves a little bit open. Just a blind showstopper commit doesn't quite kill Death, though.
Spike planted.
Yeah, but I mean, G at this point, whether the damage was done or not, they know that they're
this
waiting
is like
for
round
retake.
one.
Yeah, they know it's coming, but it's a matter of can they get the kills, because if they have to wait, if they even just buy time here for Zeta, the site's going to get taken over.
At the very least, they are very aware of what Zeta are trying to do.
Love the fake out. Buys him a little bit more space.
Oh, it allows for Death to kind of sneak through, but not quite enough because he was down too low. Russ makes quick work. Polvi picks up one. Blaze King with the 3rd. And then with that, just A short is completely blocked off, not unless they can shoot their way out of this one. Hiroran surely will try. Picks up one, but the timer is ticking. Sugar Zero tries to push forward. The fragment is out. Russ puts a roadblock right in front of them. And with the triple kill, Global Esports ends this first half 7-5.
Listen, it started on a 3-0, but the way they were able to get the rounds, they did win. And honestly, I mean, very close, right? 5-7 on any map. This can flip on its head on a dime. So I think Global Esports should be pretty happy with what they're able to show off. Rocky start, and a couple rounds, they get shut down instantly with something like the spray down through the smokes. But outside of that, once they're able to kind of get into that position, the ideas they had were good, right? Once they kind of fire off that first shot, once they're able to get the execute in, once they are able to defend against the post plan, it's good. It was just a matter of getting there, but they don't have to worry about that for now because we're switching sides.
Absolutely. I mean, still, it's just such a great way to start off this matchup, start off the day. Watching the rookies coming through, watching the new additions to Global Esports showing what they've got as well. I mean, Blaze King, Russ, lightning fast even at times. It's just lovely. But here's the other thing, Will. Now that we're swapping over onto attack for Zeta Division, I mean, what do you think of their composition? They don't really have the double initiator. Yeah, they might be able to toss in a lot of lineups with Brimstone and Viper, but is that going to allow them to get into site even?
Well, yeah, this is another thing. Because of that sky change now,
One sky.
Yeah, they can't creep up with
Two
the guiding
birds.
lights, right? Yeah,
That's all you got.
You have to wait for the execute. So, I mean, if you want to be safe, you're going to have to invest maybe one of the sky smokes or something like that, or you're really going to have to utilize your toxic screen. I think it really comes down to, do they pressure that toxic screen enough so that G has to respect it every time? Because otherwise, this could very well turn into a Glasgow lurk and kill.
Yeah. Okay, that too, and we know that he's capable of it. He has taken out Bankai a couple of times now, but apart from that, I'm just feeling the pressure on Depth's shoulders for the time being. If they can keep that relaxed look up and try to go a little bit ham on this attacking side, then maybe it's going to be different.
Uh-oh.
Timing off the barrier, was that?
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, we're going to have to wait for that one.
Slight errors, I think.
Okay, we're going through.
Okay.
Yeah, just a bit of a
There we go.
barriers there, and now they're through. So, I mean, GE, at the end of the day, it still works. They're able to get out and get two, and they corral them, well aware of the potential lurk as well.
Shows their game plan. Zeta maybe a little bit unprepared for that hit, but yeah, I mean, you saw that Dizzy come out. You saw it go above the Poison Cloud, and that's just the combo that they wanted to go for.
I mean, GE, they are well aware that the forces could come through A short at any time. I mean, 5v3, you just have to hold your angles. Go for these peaks. That's a deep jump.
Wow.
Counting his lucky stars.
Good hit from Zeta, but a little bit of damage from the paint shells too. Now just trying to suss out their positions again, but look at the discipline from Global Esports, all tucked away, all watching the off angles. Polvi gets first contact, paint shells out, a bit of a swing from Depth, but here's the swing from Lightning Fast in return.
Yeah, and that's you just had to be ready for trades, because even if the plant did happen in some weird universe, it's not like they had all the post-plant lineups ready to go. It was already a 3v5. The Viper no longer available, no Molly available for Sugar Zero either. Another Sky Smoke had been used over by U-Haul on lamps. So, I mean, GE, the pistol round prep seemed pristine. Should be able to maybe get the plan. Actually, Russ is going to be pretty quick on this one, especially with the trap wire. Can't find it.
Found it at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Cypher's no Cypher's best. Oh, he wants kills.
Might as well, right? Take what you can get. A bit more credits, a bit more damage, or just, mental fortitude. But still, it's a 7-6. Global picks up that pistol.
One thing we may see come into fruition in this match, because this is one of those matches that a lot of people thought could very well go not only to 3 maps, but very close maps across the board. But at that point, then you start to look at things like experience, how long they've had to deal with playing on stage and things like that, the pressure. And you look at Global Esports' squad, these guys have been around for a long while in various tense situations.
Players,
yeah. I mean, even Polvi, right? He's been playing in challengers out in EMEA, so.
But that's the difference. I mean, like Zeta, you got the core. Meanwhile, Global Esports is like the full team, just all changed up around. So it does show that, while some of the Zeta's players lack a little bit of experience, like Huron and Heroron, for example, Global Esports have enough experience and enough coordination that they can come into this match swinging.
I don't mind this so far from Zeta, right?
Oh,
they're on their eco. They want to get close for these long-range duels with the couple shares that they have. Obviously, a great snake bite from Lightning Fast, but they're creeping up. They're creeping up faster than G's ready for it. The decay.
Not quite. Good timing on the snake bite again. And it's just good information as well. They knew to stack up on towards B. And at this point, although the spike was down, it's safe enough for Global Esports to come into this retake with the full might and force. They're swinging together. Russ with the spray down. Blaze King with a ghost kill at the end. Minimal damage sustained. Yes, Povey died, but you know, we got 4 guns alive. That's good.
And you love to see that from their interviews. I think it was in the Emerge video as well, all those team intros that VCT Pacific had before kickoff began. But talking about how Povey, he's not in it for the scoreboard. He's not in it for the kill feed, but he's in it to create space, whether it's on attack or defense.
Oh, yeah.
He's in it to play for the team. He understands the role of an entry. Now, the question is in certain compositions, you have to be more than the entry rate. You have to be an entry fragger. However, so far, I'm liking the color that I'm seeing from Povey working alongside his teammates.
On this retake, yeah. No ego. He's like, you know, I don't care if I get kills. I create space for my team. That's all I want.
Just be that distraction. I mean, with the way that Russ is kind of fragging out so far, leading the board as the IGL, leading by example, and then you've got, of course, other trustworthy members like Blaze King. I don't blame Povey at all.
That's it, though. This should be a Zeta round. Povey with the Vandal now.
Yeah, that single Vandal, right? And then you still got Spectres for the run and guns. You've got all these trap wires. They're trying to just buy time on B side.
Ooh. Okay, what is your game plan?
The
Good
pop
flash
flash.
in from Russ. Gets enough info, backs off.
Yeah, good discipline. And this,
Then the TP.
I mean, that's enough to shove them back. It's a double member, but oh!
Just a good pickup and response from Lightning Fast. Death getting the opening pick, but then shut down so quickly. He delays for just a second longer. Benkai has made it in time onto site, so this could be the linchpin for Global Esports.
They're aware of this, though, because they never quite cleared it.
Oh, good check, but Les now getting gunned down by Benkai. With that, the spike will go down, however. Benkai tries to pick up the rifle. Takes a little bit of damage, but not too bad. Still tough, though. Russ trying to wrap back around from A short, only has a Sheriff. The spike is down, and Zeta is holding fast.
Yeah, this is all they need to take out potentially another weapon, though. And that's all GE wants from this. It's just more damage done. They've already caught up with the pistol round win.
Okay. That fragment's got to be used at some point.
No, I think they're just going to wait for kills. The fragment, save it for another round. Whoa. Oh, okay, using it to clear that out.
Tap from Russ was pretty good, but still the round win over the Zeta.
I think, honestly, GE going to be quite happy with that one. Take away 3 of the weapons, right? You got the pistol, and then you went on to the anti-eco. You won that out. Of course, you did have the one Vandal onto Povey this time. That will be lost, but overall, everyone carrying over those Spectres from the previous round and the Sheriff. So, all things considered, GE, not too bad. Now, the question I had was, I mean, with that type of push and the trap wires on B, it's not like Showers was very well defended. So, yeah, speed up from depth. But, you know, the whole kind of like funnel them into the other side.
Wow. Well, okay, not amazingly defended. I love Lightning Fast's utility, but this look from Depp, I mean, just rushing in again. I mean, it's the Depp of old. It's the child of God. And with that, they have claimed the site. Lightning Fast now trying to hold up around lamps. Manages to take down Uran, goes back in for another swing, but then shut down by Sugar Zero.
Yeah, this might have to be a save situation. I mean, I guess not if Blaze King gets the kill, because now it doesn't matter if they know of their positions. Try to bait out contact.
Indonesian Rifler, he comes in, but then the positions held by Zeta still good, still sharp. Up around lamps, up around Cubby, and then last from Showers. They managed to take them all.
I like the early wingman attempt too, just to draw out contact so you know where to be aiming, but there's just too many members on that A short side. And then, of course, Laz, once he knows, he heard the TP, he's waiting for them. They hear that they've come in through Showers into the site, so he wraps around on a timing. He would have been able to clean out all 3 anyway without them having a chance to turn back around.
That's like such a good point, Will, because I feel like Zeta's new system as it is, they know to take, you know, certain positions, especially in these post plants. Because if they can hold them and if they can stay alive well enough, and they, you know, they make sure that they don't expose themselves to anything, they are able to take these fights very favorably. So now they force Global onto an eco. Yes, there are some ultimates, but that's not the round that you want to use them. And Euron just shoots them down. I mean, is this a firing range or what? 3 kills already. We saw that before. He's doing it again. and the entire site belongs to Zeta.
I'm going to be honest, I was impressed more with Huron during the offseason than Uran. I thought Uran was still going to have to take some time to get warmed up here at VCT Pacific. And obviously, you know, kills like that, it was a lineup, sure, both of them kind of peeking out at the same time. He was holding the right angle. But at the end of the day, I mean, he's putting up the numbers that he needs to and more for Zeta Division.
With those numbers, picks up the Viper's Pit. You know, it's a very useful piece of utility for the next round. But apart from that, just Global Esports' game plan, I guess you could say there was a bit of lineup. They were trying to just pick up whatever gun they could. But if Euron can actually hold his own when faced against situations like that, I think that says a lot.
Yeah, and I wasn't quite keeping good track of the econ either. So GE obviously invested a bit more than I'd assumed the previous round. But now with that save, they're able to come up to that operator. Going to be a huge round because we know how important that is on bind.
And it's Polvi on the operator too. He peeks out B-Long, doesn't see anything. Seekers out onto A. It's the full execute. Can Benkai stay alive long enough? The trips, they are good. Lightning Fast is still here as well. The utility, it is happening for Global Esports. Benkai picks up one. Now just trying to put a little bit more pressure on towards Lamps, and it forces Sugar Zero back. They can't get the spike down. They have to think about the teleporter.
Yeah, but even if they do, they don't know exactly how many people rotated here, how many people are still on B.
Oh. Well, Huron just tries to press W and push forward, picks up another 2 kills. And then with that, tries to bait out a peek with the tap off the spike. Doesn't see anyone and calls the rotate over. 50 HP and he's trying to do it all.
Polvi's already here.
Paint shells is all he needs to. Oh, he goes for the tap up top of Tube. Nades out. He knows Polvi is right around the corner. What are you going to do here, Ron?
Plenty of time.
He continues to tap, though, and jumps up again, trying to play with timing off of this.
They know he's weak.
But it's way too risky. Yep, he is weak, and it's going to be a bit of a whisper that just takes down Huron.
Oh, boy. All right.
Nice attempt.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, great tripwire coming out from Benkai. Just kind of keeps that raise locked up in the sky, almost stationary at a certain point as he rubber bands back. That's a great swing out from Russ.
Thank you, Cypher buffs.
Yeah, I love the Cypher buffs, personally. But, I mean, that swing out from Russ. Oh, look at this viewing party as well. Love to see it. I mean, great to see so many fans gathered, of course. You know, apologies to all the fans as they did have to wait until this new day, but they're getting to watch the smash, and so far, it is delivering.
Such a close scoreline. I mean, both teams really neck and neck. And Global, although they are catching up a little bit, you know, it's again, just this is their map pick. They showed that they have a lot of game plans, a lot of executes, and it is kind of successful. It's just that Zeta right now, with their rookies, are performing a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at things much more step by step to see how many of these kills are actually like high impact kills that Zeta made on their very own volition, or how much of it was simply, you know, a decent read on the defaults and things like that. But everything being told, Zeta, okay, the firepower definitely upgraded. Their pacing and their comms seem to be upgraded. Meanwhile, on GE, the benefits that I saw from this roster during offseason at Convergence are still delivering. The ideas are good, the setups are good, but it's can you get up to that starting line? When they do, they are winning quite cleanly. But if they can't get into something like the execute or something like a healthy retake, that's when things look like they're trying to just go for one more duel to equal things out, buy a little more space, and Zeta's not backing down from those firefights.
Oh, Zeta does not. This new Zeta does not.
Full ults on the side of GE.
Yeah. That's something that they could definitely use.
I mean, this is one of those rounds I think you absolutely have to. You want to catch up. It's not about trading ults one way or another.
There.
And some good ults to get rid of that operator on the other side as well, if they're able to just get up to it and then pit into the site, something like that for Zeta.
At the very least, oh, what is this? Polvi is pushing out way too far, overextended just by a second.
I mean, the push out is hard to read at that tempo from Polvi with an operator. But I think the mistake here is Zeta, if anything, Zeta was actually prepared for more people to be pushing out. You saw that it wasn't just Huron waiting to check for that. It was multiple people, and there wasn't the backup from GE.
And that's the protocols from Zeta now.
Oh, you can't pick that back up now.
Safe. They know to watch, but Blaze King still true.
Right there.
Able to reposition just in time to get the shot, but then not expecting Death to show up from Hookah. They have the site. Still watching out for more players, though. He tosses out a blast pack just in case.
And look at
Sky
Uran.
Smoke blocks off Benkai.
On the minimap, Uran is coming all the way back around as well. I mean, Zeta just has to stay out. There's no way. There is no way Benkai's ready for this.
No, sir. He's trying to find that opening. He's trying to wait for lightning fast, but it's not going to happen. Oh my god, Zypher from Uran. It's just deaf in his movement and clean mechanics. One clean tap, and then lightning fast to spray through with the Phantom. 23 HP, and he's probably going to opt for the save at this point. Way too much of a tall task ahead of him.
The hold from Uran is great because if you think that they might have somehow regrouped in defender spawn, I don't know if they had all the right ideas that lightning fast was still over by Hookah, but then you just wait for the exits, right? Because you've already spent enough time. So I like the comms, but man, that push out from Polvi, I don't mind it as an individual move, but because Zeta was ready for it, it starts to look a little sloppy just because the backup wasn't there for trade. It wasn't a hard commit. And that's the thing. You had all ults, so obviously it's not a round where you would want to hard commit because you've got all the retake tools.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things where it's off of a Zeta timeout, so maybe they were anticipating for Zeta to do something a little bit different, and they wanted just to check, but face check is a little bit too risky.
I mean, it's always going to be risky. Here's the thing. If you're ever peeking out, it's always going to be risky. But what I want to say is the idea is good, right? It's an off timing. You got the 0 point on Hookah. You got multiple members. I don't mind it. It's just that, right, it's an operator.
Right.
It's not a jet. Sure, Raze can escape, but it takes a little bit more time. And because Zeta was ready, I'm saying it starts to look a little bit wonky. So that's credit to Zeta, but honestly, the idea, you had to throw something out there to shake things up.
It is true. Meanwhile, I mean, again, Zeta, Carlisle and Junior, they're doing a lot for this team. Trying to poke and prod this time towards Hookah. I mean, not Hookah, towards Showers, but not quite finding all too much, so regroup with Laz, and then maybe just the execute off of the toxic screen into A.
I mean, either way, they know they put some pressure down. But the thing is
Global is just jiggling for info.
Yeah, and they can buy a decent amount of time here with the Gecko. But how ready are they going to be? Trailblazers are traded for that. Now a Dizzy and a Wingman still available for time. Russ is arriving. Null command at the ready.
Rotates are over. Good shot from Blaze King. What an angle. But you still have Lash kind of looking around A short. So that teleporter play is available, and it does go through. However, it's a bit of a gamble. If Benkai can hold his ground, this is going to be tough for Zeta. They've got 20 seconds left.
I mean, Laz didn't actually have control of the site. They have to push through and fight, and now with their smokes down, the mollies are coming out. They have no way to come out, and the Dizzy as well.
Oh, 10 seconds. It's not going to happen, is it? Orbital Strike, though, still committed. They want to push through. Sugar Zero getting the frag off of it. A second one in. Hero Run sticking the plat. And with that, 2 players left. Polvi, he's got the showstopper, though. But here come the Seekers. Blaze King, we know where you are. Polvi, we know where you are. Are you going to commit? He's got the judge.
They heard the classic too, so they know something's up.
Oh boy, here it comes. Opens up lamps and tries to go for even more, but Hero-Ron, what the heck is that movement? The timing on the peaks, and then Sugar Zero to hold from Showers. This is Zeta Division.
I almost would have thought that the Orbital Strike felt late at that point, but they wait. They wait for all the utility to come out. And guess what? I want to point to this round. These are the rounds that make a difference between a team looking too slow to lose and a team just looking like they know their exact timings, right? You wait for the rotate, and then you say that you're going to draw out all this utility, and then when it ends, you still have your ultimate, and you know that you can force it through because that ult kind of acts like a wall that's going to protect you on that spike plant.
That is true.
I mean, I think GE probably feels a little shaken up after that previous round.
They probably weren't expecting this Zeta form. And honestly, I'm not as well. that felt really, really shaky to me. I mean, towards the end of that, you can feel the pressure running out of time, but still, knowing exactly what their game plan was, sticking to it, and making it work. So I don't know what Global Esports can pull off with this timeout. They need 4 more rounds to tie things up, and I mean, just thinking about them playing on the defense, you know, with a composition like this, double initiator, clearly retakes were meant to be strong, but it's not quite happening just yet.
Well, the timeout to try to save this map, take it to overtime. The null command still sitting there for a couple of rounds now. and surely something that they have discussed. But right now, it's going to be a push out. It's been a couple of rounds since they've done this. It's an all-in from GE.
We just, okay, full commit. They did it in the first round. It kind of works for the time being. Oh, but the trace just as good from Zeta. Russ still deep in position, able to gun down the player from the left. Tosses out a flash to try to stay alive. Rotates coming through, but it's not in time. Benkai all the way from the back of Halls. Now back sight.
This is all up to Blaze King. So this was the entire idea, and Zeta is aware of this, right? They know they spent way too much time trapped up in a short. Oh, he gets one. Now he knows that they were potentially looking for the rotate. He just has to hold.
Oh, no. He did hold, but then got swung upon by Sugar Zero.
But look at how close Benkai is. I don't know if Sugar Hero would have hurt him.
The timings, though. And he just goes so close to it. Benkai a little bit more prepared, a little bit better and sharper. Keeps Global Esports alive for one more round.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, Benkai just creeping up right close enough that it's so hard to tell. And that's good timings right on the flanks, one way or another, ping-ponging back and forth, coming out from GE.
I mean, this round just came down to all these micro timings. I mean, it was an all-out brawl to start. You can feel the tension and the pressure. The fans wanting to watch Global Esports win. And with Blaze King holding up from Market, it actually happened. Now back into the next round, though, and Zeta tries to pick up the pace. A little bit more control in the showers, but congestion coming out from Global Esports as well. The teleporter play. Polvi with the double kill.
Spike down. A great read from GE. A lot of people said they're absolutely going to have the brains for VCT Pacific. And this is one of those rounds. The mollies are going to hurt.
It does flush Lightning out of position, but the main thing still is that the spike is down. You don't have showers control, but I'm a little bit curious to see what Laz's game plan is.
But looking at where those tripwires are on the minimap, I don't think there's a way for him to be able to, well, now they're spotted as well.
Ooh, whoa, okay. I guess mechanics are still just as good. Orbital to flush him out of corner. Sugar Zero picks up the quad, but then what it comes down to is a Laz and Benkai one-on-one.
And Laz wanted to find a timing. He eats his own teammate's orbital strike to try to come through.
Benkai is just playing this so safe.
Is he going to wrap all the way around? Because that would be one way to play this round.
That would be so big brain. Benkai.
30 seconds left.
Benkai.
Laz is ready for this. How is he ready for this?
It just comes down to it. Whoever fires that trigger first, whoever spots each other out first, they know what each other is thinking.
He has the cam to check, but he has to stick the plan.
Pressure is on Laz. 10 seconds, and the timer is counting down. 5, 4, 3, and here comes Benkai with the swing, a tap to the head, a swift kill, and 12-10 Global Esports, 2 rounds away from overtime.
The craziest part is Laz suspected it, but Benkai waits so long. He creeps the entire time, so Laz says, I have to plant at some point. So Laz did have a read, but what a 1v1. Benkai back in his own natural habitat.
Look at him, too. Oh, my God. It's nice to see Benedict back in action. Now, timeout being called by Zeta Division. How do we right the ship? How do we secure that last round?
Well, you had a couple rounds, right, where the aggression comes out from GE. So you got to imagine that Zeta, their first instinct is to say, okay, slow things down, see if they push out, right? We hold the default, get ready for contact. The problem being, now that may funnel them back into their old habits, because if you're spending the first 20 seconds to not take any positions, then you're going to have to start to creep up. And because Laz is a Cypher, it's not like he can really just dig all the way into a site and clear it out all on his own, especially when there's a Cypher on the other side. You never know where those trips are going to be, and it's Benkai playing it as well. So, I mean, sure, they had that one rotate with their Orbital Strike and it worked out, but I don't remember the exact ult situation, but Orbital Strike was just used. So they're not going to have that for a last-minute execute.
Not to mention economy as well. And you're always thinking, you know, you only have Euron to help you initiate. So with this bit of a half buy, you really just got to scrounge up or get as much info as you can for that last round.
And look at GE, another shift in position. This time it's B main, and that also denies that ult door for the potential showstopper from Deb.
Well, I wouldn't mind if Zeta plays a little bit more cautiously. But still, the positioning. Okay, Dizzy does give off a bit of info, so they are just flushing straight through Hookah. Russ is ready to receive, pops off the null command and just wants to stay alive, but then right up around behind from Tube, and then the kill from Euron. This is the site already. The retakes at this point are too slow, too late. It cannot happen on time. 5 per spin as well, are you kidding me? Depp with the showstopper, Benkai just trying to do what he can. But at this point, oh my god, Will, it feels bad.
This is, again, one of those situations where GE just wanted to check a little too much. You had entire B main control, and you wanted to check in front of showers as well.
Well, Benkai's still gonna try though. Timer is ticking, HP is slowly draining and running away. And then just one bullet is all it takes. Good ideas from Global Esports, but at the end, Zeta Division still, and Depp still up, around, and coming.
I mean, Depp, he's playing just as well as he always has, and some people might have forgotten. A lot of people seem to go back into their memory bank during the offseason and remember that he was fragging out in 2023, so it's great to see upgrades across the board for Zeta Division. I will say, GE, I mean, I think they showed enough for people to at least stop doubting them. But it's also that Zeta looked just as strong, if not better, upgraded. And now going over to Zeta's pick on Icebox next, another map where you're going to have some good ideas on how to utilize it, because it's very tough to utilize all parts of it, especially mid, even with the map changes. So the question becomes, GE, did they even suspect that the Icebox would be picked?
Oh my goodness, that is another question. And then Sunset for a decider even. I mean, if G is not prepared for Icebox, and this, you know, it's just going to be a 2-0. And it feels, emotionally speaking, very similar to yesterday's Gen G and RRQ match. But here goes, back to the desk.
Hello! We were like kind of dancing because, oh my gosh, how spicy is Pacific? The kickoff, it's been insane. And you know what? I really like how that was being played. Obviously, Zeta bagged that first map win, but not before Benkai had a little bit of something to say as Cypher. It was almost like that Cypher meme of them pointing at each other with Laz.
Yeah.
The Cypher moment.
They kept clashing. They were always playing around the same spot. We saw, you know, on the defending side there from Zeta, Laz trying to hold down the showers, Benkai trying to push in, trying to get control of those showers. So there's a constant back and forth there, and some nice clutches from Benkai at the end to keep Global in this one. But Zeta managing to come out on top, and this is a little bit concerning because this was, again, Global's map pick. They decided to go for this, given that it was a fairly weak map in the past for Zeta Division, but clearly work has been done. Carl Out Jr., they have been working with this team to improve this map that has been a bit of a bane for them in the past, but it still didn't have to be this damn difficult, Zeta. You didn't give up the pistol round in the first half, and somehow, while defending, they still allow for a 7-5 half to come through. Global being able to get those 5 rounds was a godsend for them, and I thought that might have ended up being their undoing here for Zeta. And Global, they did have a nice rally back. They get up to 10, but I thought that was going to be their win condition, being able to get those 5 rounds initially.
Yeah, and it's all because of how quickly Global is just able to adapt. At the first couple of rounds during the first half, they were struggling in just trying to get control in terms of the rounds, but after a few more, they start to get their groove on, and it really translated into showcasing what Polvi can do as that sole entry fragger here for Global Esports, and that's why we're seeing them be so close to Zeta in that 13-10 end.
And we can see right here, MVPs, we got the gods facing off just as we were hoping for, and Depp is just so amazing, isn't he, Achilles?
Yeah, and I mean, this is a known quantity. For me, honestly, I mean, obviously the ACS not going to reflect it fully, but Yoran was a huge factor in them being able to get those initial wins coming through. This guy was looking ever so clutch. Great moments there with the Sheriff as well from Yoran. So honestly, a fantastic VCT debut for him, but Depp just continuing to frag out of control.
Now, what has been really interesting, we were talking about this in the green room just now, Zeta was infamous for being so slow, but we saw a different sort of pacing. You were talking about possibly influence from the coaching staff, changing things up for Zeta.
Yeah, I mean, for Carlisle, when you come over from a Brazilian squad, one thing that you can certainly inject into your new team is going to be some aggression, some higher tempo. And while we did see, Zeta slowing things down, especially in that last round, not the last round, but in the last few rounds where they were really taking their time, going for that push in onto the site with like 8 seconds remaining, but we're seeing a bit more ebb and flow for them. We saw that they were willing to up the aggression from time to time, and I love to see this because they were that team that just waited for 20 seconds, picked a site, and then they went and tried to execute. And more often than not, especially in the LCQ, they were getting away with it, but that is not a style of play that is going to be sustainable.
Yeah. Also, one thing I just wanted to add with how Zeta has been actually playing here is more times than not, the way that they kind of look around how their rotation and their opponent's rotation have been is a lot shorter now. So you're seeing Laz looking behind where his tripwires are. He's able to time the lurks coming in from the players of Global Esports more times than them just being kind of slow to think about that or slow to rotate, which has been very helpful in the rounds that they've played.
Now, you were noting, Asteray, how Global Esports is probably going to be a bit more free-flowing the way the team dynamic is, and it definitely seems so, but is it working?
I think it is. The big problem was, and we mentioned this literally just a couple of minutes ago, is the Benkai versus Laz. They need some extra options that they can choose to go elsewhere on the map, but because Benkai has been losing in that fight, they cannot force the issue elsewhere, so they have to commit to this fight. The problem is the setup for Zeta, whether it's on defense or attacking, has been a little bit difficult. What at least has been good for Global here, coming back to them, has been Polvy's ability to create those openings, but his teammates just can't follow the speed that he is going at it, so it creates this kind of rift where he's already there, he's creating plays, but the rest of Global are still somewhat lagging behind.
What do you make of that, Kilios?
I mean, I widely do agree. We saw just some... It's hard to say whether or not there are fantastic reads from Zeta's side or just poor decision-making from the side of Global, but, you know, with that ebb and flow from Zeta, like, one of the rounds that we saw was they slowed things way down after playing aggressively, and then Polvy goes on an aggressive push out of B long, ends up getting caught, and that's going to be the operator down, as well as your star duelist player taken out of the fight very early. So a couple of these moments here where they're deciding to go aggressive, take some space, but they have no information as far as player placement on the side of Zeta is concerned. That's something that they need to be accountable for. So they need to make sure that they know that they're pushing into somewhere a little bit safer. And if they don't know that it's safer, they need to be a little bit faster on those reactions.
Now, the second map is going to be Icebox, and this is Zeta Division's pick, which is curious because it seems it's been a very long time since Zeta's played on Icebox.
It has been. And granted, Icebox out of the rotation does account for a large portion of this, but we haven't seen them play this map since the grand final versus Northeption, where Northeption bested Zeta Division to then go on to Masters Copenhagen in 2022. That was all the way back in June of that year. So we have not seen this team in a very long time playing this map. It has not necessarily been one that they tend to play on historically at all. So the fact that they are willing to go onto this map after the recent changes should allude to them having cooked something up.
Yeah.
Who's going to be cooking harder?
My guess with this one is because of the changes on Icebox, and you kind of see this a lot with a couple of teams before, the only play that you could do on mid before the changes was the rush underneath orange and then just kind of see where that takes you. But because there's a window now coming into kitchen, there's a lot, there's the changes on the orange boxes where there's only one avenue, not the two anymore on the split. There's a lot more I think that you can try to do there, and I think that's where Zeta is hoping that they can outpace Global here. That seems like what Global was doing on Bind in some of the rounds that they were successful on was getting those quick contacts on the smaller corridors. And since Icebox, even though it's a two-sided map, it's still pretty open with, again, these new changes. Something that, again, Zeta could use, but again, this is just me guessing what could happen.
This map actually falls into Zeta's older play style really well now thinking about it, because this is one of those maps where a lot of times you do see, you know, them poking and prodding and then settling on which site you want to go to. So for Zeta, who love to do that, they absolutely could just poke and prod around green, maybe even inch up towards yellow. Oh, I'm getting racy here with that one. Maybe that's a bit too much for them going that deep into a site. But you know, you can kind of just make an appearance over on this side of the map and then opt to go to the other one if you don't like what you see or what you don't see on that side. So I'm curious if that's going to be the case. We did see the fan sign there saying rush B. That isn't exactly their MO, but as we take a look at it, it's going to be the Harbor coming through.
Ooh, I like this. Harbor, I think, is so underrated. I think I've said this way back, maybe in VCT Philippines, that he does the job of both Viper and the Sage because of the Cove. It gives you a little bit of that safety, even though there are the changes that happen on the B side, even before this current change. You still have to have some form of safety when you plant that spike, and if you don't have a Gecko, you need something to keep that planter safe, and the Cove is one of those abilities that just does that.
Still sticking in with the KO here for Global. It seems like they're really going to be relying on this one, so I'm curious to see if Russ is going to be able to pilot it to more success here on Icebox.
All right, let's go into the Arctic Icebox. We're going to have our casters, Quack and William. Who's it going to be?
Thank you very much, Chubby Ninja, Asterai, and Achilleos. I have no idea what it's going to be. It does feel a little bit chilly, though, because Zeta is looking cold today. But yeah, I am wondering about that KO.
Yeah, GE seems to really want to focus on the double initiators. I know we're just 2 maps in, but I get it. It does seem to suit what they want to do, right? Get the info, then go for the call, then have these set plays. That's a nice idea, but if everyone else is still going for double controllers on some of these maps, and especially a map like Icebox, curious how this attack's going to be. Because at the end of the day, you're going to need to get those frags.
And on the other hand, for Zeta, too, I mean, this composition is just what DRX did before in the past. So going in on the defense now, already committing the high tide. It blocks off. It kind of pushes Global Esports into A, where, well, Laz is kind of hiding and waiting. The turret is up and ready. Russ is kind of tagged up by the decay of the toxic screen. But, wow, we're just setting up for retakes. We're trying to use the lineup, but it doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, very fast flank, though. Now, they were spotted. GE knows they have to push out, and Povi's going to open things up.
Okay, Povi's always good for some shots. Gets the first one, now wraps back around screens. He wants to hold this position, because if he does, then it holds Zeta off for just another second. Laz, though, up around the rafters side. He goes back down and picks off Russ. And here comes Step from the